Here we are at the Telish Winery once again. This building over here is the building with the concrete tanks that extends all the way down. Over here we have an administration building, and over here are some fermentation tanks that we'll try and get to in our next segment. But behind me is part of the winery that has, I don't actually know if it's in use or not anymore because I really didn't ask. But we have some pretty looking, old looking kind of wine tanks here. Some more over here, bank over here. And again, to show where we are, we're hailing nice sunset by our fermentation tanks. And over here on the ground here, we see two very large round circles. And to me, this would pinpoint an area of perhaps where the footprint of two larger wine tanks used to be. Let's see if we can take a walk around here and keep an eye out for snakes, since I hear there are some snakes around here. This is some kind of drainage ditch, I'm assuming. Probably, I can't understand why, but like drainage for some kind of reason. Yes, a drainage ditch for no other reason other than drainage. I guess this is to keep the locals out and keep them on the other side. I'm looking out on the ground for snakes. Yeah, now that actually I look at that drainage ditch over there were probably tanks on those two concrete footprints also. As I'm looking over here, and there's some a drainage ditch here in the front of these tanks. A little nervous about snakes, as I saw a very large dead one the other day. These tanks are empty. I don't know when the last time they were used, if they're still in use during harvest, perhaps. These two larger wine tanks here. These look like about 30,000 gallons, perhaps. These may be about 20,000, 24,000 gallons. I'm sorry, liters, 24,000 liters. And that's probably about like 24,000 gallons. That's probably at least much larger size. And this footprint over here is quite large, so there probably were at some point some larger wine tanks on this part also. And the dogs are probably barking if you hear them in the background, because they probably don't have many people who actually ever come out here. Maybe those dogs bark to keep the snakes away. Okay, so over here we have another footprint for another wine tank. I hear the truck is motoring off. They're probably looking for me, wanting to go home. Over here, if you look, you'll see a cutout of the concrete. I'm not crossing the grass area over here, as you know why. But that cutout over there is for the bottom of the wine tank, because the bottom of the wine tank funnels towards the bottom. And that would be where the metal piping that the wine would exit from the wine tank would go. Okay, the drainage ditch once again surrounding the tanks. And this bank of older wine tanks also. And back to our reference point, the fermentation tanks, the administration house. And I am going to cut between these two wine tanks here and stay out of the grassy areas. Torpedo, old gas tank for probably CO2, some kind of nitrogen to top the tanks with gas to keep the aeration out of the gas. We're going to look at the sunset one more time, and our bank of old tanks, spiral staircase. I want one of those one of these days. And that's our third or fourth tour of the Telish Winery. The unused segment as far as I can tell. And this is, again, walking towards the administration area. The building with the concrete tanks. Let's see if we can get a look at that tanker truck that's now taking 24,000 liters out of the Telish Winery down to the winery in Colorado. There's Cristo making his way out of the winery. And here is our tanker truck, about to motor out for his 8-hour drive down south to southern Bulgaria. And our fermentation tanks, which we'll try and get to tomorrow or the next day. There you go. And 40 gigs into height. Everything is sealed up there. I'm looking. Yeah, we have a kosher seal over here also. And alright, you all have a good day, and you should have a good drive with some kosher Merlot on his way down to southern Bulgaria. This is Telish reporting from Telish Winery once again.